Hi children, let's learn The Two Gentlemen of Verona, written by A.J. Cronin from class 11 English textbook, 12 English textbook. Let me tell you the gist of the lesson. In this lesson, we are going to learn about two boys who are relentlessly working, having a plan in their mind, and they are met by our narrator, who gradually shows his soft corner for them and understands that hope never fails. So this is what is the gist of the lesson. Now in this slide we are seeing the characters of this lesson. Narrator, who is A.J. Cronin. Narrator's driver is Lugai. Elder brother, that is those two boys. The elder brother's name is Nicoba and the younger brother's name is Jacopo. Nurse and the elder sister Lucia. In this slide we are going to talk about the narrator who is meeting the boys. In this slide I'm going to talk about the meeting of the boys with the narrator. As the driver Lucia is driving the car under the foothills of Alps, the narrator and the driver are meeting two small boys and on the outskirts of Verona. And the boys are selling strawberries, and the narrator was eager to buy something, that is those things from the boys, but the driver is cautioning him not to buy. And also he says that they would get much better fruits in Verona city. Apart from that, he says these boys, he utters, but then he stops. He is shrugging his shoulders to convey his disapproval for the shabby boys, untidy boys. They are not neat and tidy. And one of the boy had worn jersey with cut-off khaki pants, 3/4, and the other one was wearing army tunic, which means sleeveless, and gathered in loose folds. And the dress was army tunic was gathered with loose folds, stitched to loose folds, and on his skinny frame. About his skinny frame, not on his, about his skinny frame. But still, he was gazing at the two little figures who were with their brown skins, tangled hair, untidy, uncombed hair, and dark, earnest, some aimed eye, we can say ambitious eyes. We felt ourselves strangely attracted. They felt. We here means the narrator and the driver. They felt strangely towards and attracted towards them. And narrator's companion spoke to the boys and discovered that they were brothers. And the elder one's name was Nicola, and he was about 13 years old. And the younger one is Jacopo, which should be pronounced as Jacopo. And he is 12 years old, and his height was to the door handle of the car. And finally, they are buying the big basket from them, and then they move towards the city. This particular slide talks about the amateurish and untiring. Amateurish work is done but not in a matured way, and untiring without getting tired. So here it means the boys' works are amateurish and untiring. They are untiring. Narrator reaches Verona city, and he is staying in a hotel for that night. The next day morning, after finishing his rituals, he comes out, and they both are coming out, and they are seeing their best friends whom they saw the previous day. and beside the fountain, in the public square, which is the during the peak hour, which is always busy, doing their brisk business. And they both are watching them for a moment, for a few moments, and then that when the trade was decreasing, they went near. They are going near to him, near to them, near to those two boys. Those two boys are greeting them with friendly face, and narrator is asking them that they are picking. Narrator is saying to them that he thought that they were picking fruit for their living. Then Nicola is answering very seriously, immediately, "We are doing many things, sir." He glanced, Nicola is glancing at them hopefully. Then also he adds that they are often showing visitors through the town to the Juliet tomb and other places of interest. Then the narrator is smiling and saying that all right. Then he also asking them to have around the city. And in the third paragraph, the author is provoked by the demeanor. Demeanor means appearance and behavior. He is really provoked with their remarkable appearance and behavior. Though they were childish and they were artless also, they did their job well. Jacopo is lively as a squirrel. Nicola's smile is steady and engaging, yet in both these boyish faces, they are showing their seriousness, which is far beyond their age, which should not be there on the face of teenage. This particular slide tells that keep nose to grindstone, which means, it's an idiom, it means to continue to work very hard without stopping. In this paragraph, then the author is seeing those two boys frequently, and they are proving themselves in their work. If the narrator wanted a pack of American cigarettes, they immediately bringing it for him. If they wanted to go for an opera, immediately the boys booked the ticket for him. And if they wanted any names of good restaurant over there, immediately they gave the name and they took them. And Nicola and Jacopa won the heart of the narrator, confident of the narrator. And the narrator also understood their willingness to work forever. In spite of summer days under the hot sun, they shined the shoes, sold the fruits, hawked the newspapers, conducted tourists from the town around the town, and ran errands, did this and that to make money. And one fine night, what happened was, it was a windy night, deserted square, which means there was nobody except those two boys. They were resting on the stone pavement beneath the light. Nicholas was sitting upright and he looked tired. A bundle of unsold papers were lying on his feet, at his feet. Jacopa was taking rest on his brother's shoulder and was asleep. It was nearly midnight. The narrator was asking him a question, that was, why were they so late? Nicola immediately answered they were waiting for the bus from Padua. They wanted to sell the newspaper when the bus comes. Then again the narrator raised a question, if it was necessary for them to work hard. They both looked rather tired. They said that they were not grumbling about their hard work. In this slide, we are going to see why this relentless work. Is there any other plan? So now, relentless, non-stop. Is there any plan behind that? Next morning, what happened was, The narrator went to polish his shoes near the over the fountain. Nicola was there. Jacopo was also at the work, and he raised the question over there. He raised the question to the boys. By the way they work, the narrator has understood that they are earning quite a bit. Also, he asked them that they are not spending the money on their clothes or nor on their food. Usually he is watching those two boys. For this whole week he was with them. He understood that they are eating only black bread and figs. Then he asked a question, what are they doing with that money? In fact, Nicola grew pale. He looked at the ground. Then the narrator said that they must be saving the money to emigrate to America. Nicola looked at him and spoke with an effort that they are greatly liking to go to the States, but there are other plans too. Then the narrator asked him, what are the plans? He smiled uncomfortably. Just plans, sir, he said in a low voice. In this slide, we are going to see the narrator's soft corner. He said, okay, well. Then he said that they were leaving on Monday. Also he offered an help if they wanted anything. Nicola shook his head and didn't utter any word, but Jacopo bursted out, and he said that every Sunday they used to visit the country, make a visit to the country, to Poleta, 30 kilometers away from there. Usually they go by bicycle by hiring, but as the narrator has given them an offer, this time they might join him. And the narrator told them that he has asked Lugai to take a Sunday off, and he would drive the car for those boys. There was a pause immediately. Nicola was glaring at his brother with annoyance. Vexation here means annoyance. We could not, and also he said that he did not want to trouble. And narrator said that it wouldn't be a trouble. He bit his lip. Then rather he said, okay, very well. He accepted his offer. Awestruck author, which means that seeing something surprised, he was amazed. The following afternoon, what they did, they went to the tiny village, and the narrator's imagination was a humble dwelling. The boys' dwelling would be something humble. Directed by Jacopo, they drew into a large red-roofed villa surrounded by a high stone wall. The narrator couldn't believe his eyes. Before he was back to normal, both the boys just leaped from the car. And also they said that they wouldn't take much of his time, and only an hour, and maybe the narrator would like to go to the cafe to have a drink. They disappeared immediately beyond the corner of the wall. After a few minutes, the narrator also followed them, and he found a grilled slide entrance. Determinedly, he rang the doorbell also. A pleasant-looking woman appeared in front of him, who was with the steel-rimmed spectacles. As the narrator was blinking, he saw the lady with white uniform being a trained nurse. Immediately the narrator told her that he brought those two small young boys. Ah, she said. Her face was lit up. She opened the door and welcomed him. Also, she uttered the names of the boys, Nicola and Jacopo. I'll take you up. She also said that she would take him up there. Increased eagerness. The narrator's eagerness to know the history of the boys increased. This is what we are going to see in this slide. So the lady, that is the nurse, took him to the cool tiled lobby. Vestibule means here lobby, into the hospital. A villa which has turned into a hospital. At the door of a little cubicle, the nurse paused. She stopped over there and put a finger to her lips, put her finger to her lips, with a smile bade, took through the looked through the glass partition. She looked through the partition. Bade me, sorry, put her finger to her lips, with a smile bade me, that made him see through the glass partition. The two boys were sitting at the bedside of a girl who was about 20, propped up on pillows, wearing pretty lace jacket, and was listening to the chatter of the boys. Her eyes were soft and tender, and she resembled her brothers. So anybody can understand that they three were siblings. And there was a table near her, there was a vase of wildflowers, a dish of fruit, and several books. Nurse murmured to him if he won't get in, if he would like to get in. And also she said that Lucia would be pleased to see him. The narrator shook his head and turned away. He did not want to interrupt the happy family party. But apart from that, he also wanted to know about the boys. So what he did, he drew up to the, but at the foot of the staircase, he drew up and begged her to tell the story of those boys, a blast from the past. So she's telling the past life of the boys. She says, even she was eager to do so. She says to him that they are quite alone in this world, except for the sister Lucia. Their father, who was a widower, was a well-known singer, was killed in the early part of the war. And shortly afterwards, what happened was a bomb was thrown, and that destroyed their home, and these children were thrown into the streets. They had always, and their father had given them a comfortable life and cultural life. Lucia herself was training as a singer, and they suffered horribly from near starvation and exposure to the cold. And for months what they did had barely kept themselves alive in a sort of small shelter. They lived in a small shelter which was built by their own hands amidst the rubble. Rubble here means debris and broken bricks, whatever was available, with which they built a small house, and for months they are staying inside that. Then for 3 years German ruled the city. German was ruling the city, and the boys grew a great hate towards the Germans. Then the resistance movement was beginning secretly against the Germans, for which these two boys registered themselves first. When the war was over, when the peace returned, they came back to see their beloved sister, but they found her suffering from tuberculosis of spine. A great hope for human society. Hope you understand the meaning of the heading. So here, they didn't give up. She says that they didn't give up, and they do not have to give up. They do not have to. She does. I do not have to answer that question. Did they give up? I don't have to answer that question, because it is very much clear that they three are here inside the hospital, which means that they brought their sister immediately, and they asked them to admit her in the hospital. And she has been here getting treatment for the past 12 months, and she is showing some progress, and hope that she would walk again and sing again. Of course, everything was so difficult. Also, she added that everything was so difficult. Food so scarce and dear, we could not keep going unless we charged a fee. Also, she said that unless they are charging something from the patients, they could not run the hospital. And Lucia's brothers are making their payment very promptly every weekend. She added simply. And also, she added simply that in what way they do it. And she also never asked them that. Work is scarce in Verona. There is unemployment is much more in Verona. But whatever it is, whatever it was, they are making it. The writer also agreed. They couldn't do it better. And the narrator went outside the hospital. He was waiting for the boys to come and rejoin him. The boys came, rejoined. They didn't speak at all. They sat near him, beside him. They didn't speak at all. And also the narrator didn't speak anything to them. He understood, though he was knowing the whole story, he took their story from the nurse. Their devotion towards the sister, in spite of the war, had broken their spirit. Their devotion towards the sister deeply touched the heart of the narrator. Their selfless action brought a new nobility to human life. The selfless action brought new nobility to human life and gave promise of a greater hope for human society. So this is what is the meaning of the title of this slide, A Great Hope for Human Society. Children, I hope you have understood. Thank you very much.